we go back to the Redcliffs one, and then we'll... So I think we have some wording. So enters into a memorandum of understanding with the Redcliffs Residents Association, providing a timeline and a scope of works for reinstatement of the Redcliffs Pavillion to a safe and accessible condition, sound foundation power, structurally sound drainage and windows, and any betterment of the window up to the extent of the allocated budget, and for the ownership of the Redcliffs Pavillion be transferred to the Redcliffs Residents Association or nominated legal entity for a nominal amount of $1, and that an MOU is signed prior to any reinstatement works commencing. So I think that captures that. And in
one question, do we? Sorry.
And number
so
4 was a change.
Does B need to be then?
Sorry.
Does B need to be then? Does it need to be? Do we need to specify when the ownership changes? I don't know.
I thought it was prior to any reinstatement works commencing.
That's what it says.
It says that. It says prior
the MOU
to
being signed.
Yeah,
Okay,
but the MOU.
Yeah.
And that a MOU is signed prior to any reinstatement works commencing. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Just talking about the ownership.
Yeah.
Aren't you, Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just clarifying whether the ownership changes at the time the MOU is signed. I just wasn't clear on that. Sorry, just as I was seeing it actually on the screen again. I'm really sorry.
Sorry.
Can it be on completion?
Is it on completion?
It may not be an
works?
issue at all.
Sorry, I don't know. I did send an email to see if I could get a staff member down.
No. Well, if it's
Not an issue
easier,
then.
no. Well, why don't we
It may not
change the
need to be
order?
resolved.
That a memorandum of understanding is signed prior to any reinstatement works commencing, and that the ownership be transferred. So that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. So it can happen at any stage
It's in
during
budget,
the year.
so
Yeah, that's right.
the timing's
Yep.
irrelevant.
Okay, that's fine. It may not need to be resolved when it is. I was just checking.
Well, the budget's there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
the transfer
So
of the
that a
ownership's
memorandum of
irrelevant.
understanding is
It's in
signed
the
prior to
budget.
any reinstatement works commencing,
Oh, that's okay.
and that the
Yep.
ownership transfer.
Yeah, so
so
don't-
it doesn't really matter
No,
whether
that's fine. I was
that's
just checking.
Right.
Yeah.
contemporaneous or post.
Yeah.
And number 4 has been changed, so it says that in the event of the MOU not being entered into with the association, that matter be referred back to the community board for further.
Which is great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Would someone like to move that? Paul, seconded by Yanni. Is there any discussion? David?
Yeah, look, I'm a little curious, I suppose, if we look at the history of a number of community pavilions and things around the city, and in many instances the opposite's happened, is that the local community hasn't had the wherewithal or the ability to carry on the ownership and maintenance of the hall, and it's transferred to council, and here we're sort of going the other way.
Great.
Yeah, but I mean, so what happens in 2 or 3 years' time if a few years' time if the Redcliffs Residents Association is defunct or not operative? Does it come back the other way again? Or is that part of the memorandum of understanding? I just sort of make the analogy that we probably more often than not gone the other way in recent times.
Yes,
I think of the War Memorial Hall at North Beach. For years was a community asset, and they struggled to sort of look after it. Now it's gone. It's a council-owned facility. It's gone the other way. So are we? I'm just sort of looking holistically at the longer term. What is the sort of the philosophy of operating and maintaining community facilities? This one seems to be going back to the community. Well, is going back to the community. I would sort of want some sort of assurance in the memorandum of understanding that the community has the ability and the wherewithal to sustain this operation for some years into the future, and I don't think we can get that.
But it was originally built by volunteers. It wasn't built by the council. It's built. I mean, the trouble is, it's got an interesting history. I'll just say.
Look, I'm just probably being the devil's advocate here, that I've seen
What do
more...
you mean, probably?
Well, I am being the devil's advocate. I've seen more go the other way than this way.
Returning.
I think
Yeah,
this is an
Yeah.
opportunity for council to adopt a principle where we walk beside these organisations and we make sure if they do start to dip, which often volunteer groups do when their numbers wane, that we walk beside them and help them rather than just ditch a resource because it's not working. We just keep an eye on things and support them.
We've seen that in Shirley Papanui as well.
Yeah.
Nice to
So
see.
prior to the earthquakes, this building had been privately owned and it was gifted to us. So we're re-gifting, but in a partnership arrangement with the local community. Well, I mean, I think it's a 1-1, but your point is taken, because I think what you're saying is that we really do need to consider these matters on a, sort of a principles basis rather than an ad hoc basis, I think is what you're saying. And that's that. I don't disagree with that either. All right, I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. That's carried. And thank you to the Hagley
Thank you very
Ferrymead
much.
Community Board for the effort that you've put into making this happen.
It's been a long process and it's a really good result.
Good
So,
outcome.
Looking forward to it.
Thank